It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the three films of Friday the 13th, July of 2007. And on today's show, we do have a horror movie, but it's not a Friday the 13th movie. But before we have that, though, we have the latest Harry Potter film, and we also have... Oh, I was about to click on it, but I remember it now. A star-studded independent movie from Cassie Lemons about the radio in the 70s with Don Cheadle will talk to me. But we'll delve into that as we go along here. But before we do any of that, let's talk about, obviously, the biggest new release of the weekend. We are in the summer movie season, and the biggest new release this weekend is, of course, the next installment of the Harry Potter series, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. So this movie marks a number of notable things. For one thing, it's the first time the Harry Potter series was not written by Steve Kloves. This was actually written by Michael Goldenberg, and that's actually from Carnegie, because I live in Pittsburgh. It's not too far away from here. But this is also the first film directed by David Yates, who would take over the Harry Potter series going forward, even directing all the Fantastic Beasts movies, and needless to say, I think he's overstayed his welcome, but that's for another day and time. But this is the fifth installment of the Harry Potter series, where you once again have Harry, Ron, and Hermione going back for another year at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and the Ministry of Magic is in denial of the return of Lord Voldemort, who is played by Ralph Fiennes. And you also have a lot of the characters from the other movies, and this is the continuation of the Harry Potter series from obviously the last movie in general, and the continuation of the growth of these movies. These movies do get better and better as they go along here. It's interesting because this is the shortest length of the Harry Potter movies going forward, but it does show what David Yates was able to do when he first was coming into the series in general. I mean, this is his first feature film in general, coming in from, his work in television before this and then going into this. I mean, this is one of those examples of when you take a first-time television director and give him a big project like this, and you let him see what they can do with it. And for him to just knock this out of the park just like this, I mean, this is really good, man. Like I said, it's the logical steps going forward with the series in general. It's them going forward, getting more darker. We're way past the kiddie movie start of the series with Chris Columbus and all that. Started with the Goblet of Fire, and now it's coming into... It did start with... what was the third one? What was the third one? Don't tell me. Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, Prisoner of Azkaban was the third one. Good Lord. It started with that movie, but then it got more darker with Goblet of Fire, and now here we are with the next one, probably the most darkest one up to this point, Order of the Phoenix. And of course we have one more before we get to the conclusion of the series, but yeah, like I said, these movies have gotten better and better with every film. This is definitely the best one of the bunch, continuing the storyline here, much darker, they're moving the story along here. There's more of a growing thread in here because we get more of Voldemort coming into play here. Yeah, it's an incredible movie. It's a great film. Continues to show the growth of the Harry Potter series going forward. Not much more I can really add to this film that hasn't already been said already, but yeah, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. It's definitely the best one of the series that we've had up to this point, but we know it's going to get better from this point going forward with the next three films, actually. But okay, the next movie, the Deathly Hallows. We'll get to that one. We'll get to that one later on, because that's where I would kind of say it took a little bit of a step back, but it ended on the best note possible. But that is in the future. So let's go ahead and move on to the next movie we have here, and that is Captivity. Yeah, the most controversial horror film of the year. Yeah. Hostel Part 2 would like to have a word with you, because let's talk about what the controversy was, because from what I've seen, it's not even that big of a controversy. So what was happening was that there were a lot of controversial images coming out depicting promotional scenes from the movie by the studio behind this, After Dark Films, where they showed the kidnapping, the torture, and the presumed murder of a female character. And, they put this on billboards and taxi cabs, and I mean, I don't really see the controversy here. I mean, I'm trying to look for them here, and I'm not seeing anything, but actually, let me do more research before I go far in on what I want to say here, because, I feel like I need to do some more research on this. Give me 1 second. Okay, I found it here, and yeah, admittedly, it's a little bit of a question mark on whether or not they should have done this or not, but I don't know, man. I don't think this is as bad as people let on. I mean, it's basically giving you the idea of what the movie is, and it isn't like Hostel Part 2, where they literally had, a woman literally naked with her boobs sticking out and with a severed head. I mean, I don't know. I get the idea of why people are so upset about this, but I don't know. It's kind of like that controversy with the Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie that came out just before it came out earlier in the year. Uh, but I don't know. That's just it's my personal opinion. It's not that big of a deal. At least to me, it isn't. But because it gives you the idea of what the movie is. Plus, we're really going to cause a commotion for this movie that is basically just a ripoff of every other torture porn movie. I don't care if Roland Joffrey is the director of this, the guy who did The Mission, did these classic movies back in the day, Fat Man and Little Boy, The Killing Fields, these movies that made him somewhat of a name beforehand. I don't care that I don't care that it has somebody like Larry Cohen writing the script for it. I don't care that it has Alicia Cuthbert in it from 24. The concept in here is just something we've seen done to death so many times before. Cuthbert plays a young fashion model who is abducted and is psychologically tortured by unknown assailants. What's really the controversy of the movie is how lazy the movie is. I mean, this is a film that has no reason to be this generic and so bland and so forgettable. At least Saw and Hostel were trying to do something with the torture porn concept. This is just literally just the same thing we've seen done over and over and over again, except there's nothing of value here whatsoever. This is a boring movie. This is not even a scary film at all. It's a boring movie where nothing is going on in this film. I had this confused with another movie. I think I said that this took place inside of a parking garage, but no, that's another movie called P2, which should be coming up in the next couple of months. I think in the same year. If not the same year, it should be coming within the next couple of years. In fact, let me see. That's this 2007. Comes out in November. Okay, so we're gonna get to that one eventually. I got those two confused, but even so, man, this is still a really lackluster movie that has nothing of value to it whatsoever. It's a boring movie. It's a bland movie. It has nothing to add to it in terms of the torture porn genre. At least stuff like Hostel and Saw were trying to do something creative and inventive with their kills. This just falls into the same old predictable territory and just falls into a complete mess of stuff we've seen done to death so many times before. It went in there just because it was coming out on Friday the 13th. They needed a big horror movie to come out that weekend. They thought this was it, and yeah, the end result is a massive, massive bore fest. I mean, this isn't scary. This is boring. It's a boring film, and yeah, nothing about this movie was worth it. Not even the controversy that they had. But that's just my personal opinion on it. So that's Captivity. So let's go ahead and wrap it up with our last one we have here. After Harry Potter, the second best movie of the week, and that is Talk to Me. Let me put my arms around you. I don't know why that happens. Every time I see the title "Talk to Me," I just think of the song, "Come to Me" by James Ingram and Patti LaBelle, I think. Yeah, I know I'm doing this while I'm doing it, but let me see. Where is it? Yeah, Patty Austin and James Ingram. Okay, but no, this is not that type of a movie. But it is centering around the world of music. Talk to Me is about Washington D.C. radio personality Ralph Green, Petey Green, played by Don Cheadle, who is an ex-con who becomes a popular talk show host and community activist, and Dewey Hughes. Dewey Hughes is played by Chiwetel Ejiofor. Yeah, I'm correct on that. His friend and manager, and it spans the time periods between May 1966 and January of 1984, ending with Green's memorial service. And Cassie Lemons directed this movie. She's made some pretty good movies as a director. Eve's Bayou is probably her best overall film. She just did Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody, which the performance of Whitney Houston was great. The movie was not, and she's made some bad stuff too. Her next movie after this, Black Nativity, I did not like all that much, but This is this is a really good movie of hers. Probably my second favorite movie of hers, with a lot of good performances by Cheadle and Ejiofor, Taraji P. Henson, Cedric the Entertainer, Mike Epps. You know, a lot of great talent in this movie overall. Rick Famuyiwa, who did Roll Bounce, was the writer on this movie, and he wrote the, and he did a good job of handling the script on this. And it's a really good movie. It's an engaging film with a lot of great talent all across the board. It's a really interesting storyline. You know, it's interesting story about this guy in radio who, you know, kind of became the voice of a generation, and it really was very impressively handled. It was a really good film, really interesting to watch, and one I can't recommend enough. It's definitely a great film. I highly recommend it. Talk to Me. And so, with all that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies, and the next time we meet, we've got 3 more big summer blockbusters, including Adam Sandler and Kevin James in the comedy I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. We have Adam Shakeman's remake of John Waters' classic film Hairspray, the musical starring John Travolta, Michelle Pfeiffer, Christopher Walken, Amanda Bynes, James Marsden, Queen Latifah, and features Nikki Blonsky in her film debut. We also have Danny Boyle's latest film, Sunshine, which features Cillian Murphy among the cast. So we'll take a look at all 3 of those movies. That'll be coming up on tomorrow's show. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page. Check out the previous episode. And also, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notification button, as well as the bell, because you get updates on when new videos come out. And we do post new videos here every day. Now, with all that said, I am off. I will see you guys next time. And until then, as always, take care.